I'm going to give it a couple minutes before we start, probably like at 4:02. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share the agenda. So before I jump right into the CDBG scores, I wanted to talk about the action plan real quick. That was submitted to HUD. The action plan is the game plan for CDBG and home. It tells HUD what the city and the region is doing for the upcoming year. We're still waiting on HUD approval on that, but it has been submitted. Subrecipients can start going through with their programs. The city just can't reimburse anyone yet. So that's been done. Now we'll go into the scores. So let me switch to that. I'm just going to stop sharing. It's going to be easier like that. Okay, so this was the final score for both the applicants. We have more than enough funding for both the applications. I do want to open it up for discussion on both of them. So we can start with Parks and Rec. This is a city-led activity. It does satisfy the Ridge Street Priority Neighborhood requirement. It's a bike and pedestrian ADA accessible bridge connecting Jordan Park to the developing Moores Creek Trail between Avon Street and 5th Street. It is a workforce development component satisfied activity. The contract would be put on the HUD Section 3 registry to procure a minority business enterprise contractor. It would also satisfy the HUD Davis-Bacon Act components. All contractors working on the Jordan Trail Park would have to be paid similarly. Let me start over. So for Davis-Bacon, any contractor working on a similar type park project across Virginia would have to be paid equally. And that goes across the board for any Virginia park project. So that's where that workforce development component comes into play. There's no site plan requirements with this activity. There's only a E&S plan required. So that's good. Connor mentioned one concern about outreach being done with this application, and Chris replied saying that Chris, the applicant for Parks and Rec, replied saying that he was getting outreach done with the Ridge Street Priority Neighborhood. He had reached out to them, the Jackson School and Ridge Street residents. So that is in the works. Questions, comments, concerns with the task force for this application?
So Aaron, this one is just a little different than some of the ones I've come across in the past, and I emailed you to just clarify if this was going to fit within CDBG parameters. And so you're saying it does.
Yes.
And I guess, are you confident in Parks and Rec's ability to do this in a timely manner? It seems like a type of project they're capable of doing. I just was curious your thoughts.
I am. There is also some city funds being thrown into this. So I'm confident that with staff on board that this will go through.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. At first, I was concerned about the environmental review, but I did check, and this is outside of the floodplain hazard. So I'm also confident on that end as well.
It seems like outside of that, there were no real concerns that I had with it, and I thought it was definitely a worthy project.
Yeah. Normally, we don't put public infrastructure activities into the normal CDBG RFP round, but because there was some extra funds that were thrown at you guys, this was a fun one to look over.
So Ian, what will be the timeline to get this project completed? So the students and folks in that community will have use of this trail?
1 year.
1 year. So 1 year from this month?
I told him 1 year from September because realistically, this still has to go through Planning Commission and City Council review. So September is a more realistic timeline for him to start.
Okay, so it'll be ready for use next year, school year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have the Arc of Piedmont application. So this actually was formally submitted under the Charlottesville Affordable Housing Fund and under the review of the Technical Housing Committee. Staff and the committee recommended that this be diverted to CDBG. It just didn't fit the priorities with all the other applications that were submitted to be funded under CAF. So this came through to CDBG. Arc of Piedmont actually did receive CDBG in 2015 and they didn't have any timeliness concerns. They also in 2015 funded group home improvements back then, but it was for roofing, flooring, and not HVAC, but insulation type improvements. Now they want to do HVAC. Again, no timeliness concerns. It would fall under a normal environmental review, but that one's done a lot quicker. It does satisfy affordable housing requirements. And again, it's just a HVAC system repair for a developmentally disability group home. And I didn't see any concerns in the comments that were submitted on everyone's end. But I'll open it up to discussion for you guys.
The only thing that I saw that there wasn't much of a budget, but I imagine it's because they already have a quote for doing the repair. Okay, that's fine.
And this would be a very quick turnaround. $6,000 is not much to dwell on. Any other comments on this one? Seeing none, I'm going to turn it over to your funding recommendations. So Connor actually sent me his, and his was to fully fund Arc of Piedmont and then have the rest be thrown towards Parks and Recreation. So that was his recommendation. I'll leave it to you guys.
That sounds good to me.
So I'm gonna write that up there.
I would also agree with that.
I agree as well.
Agreed.
Okay, so that sounds like a full. Okay, that should match up, yep. So everyone's in consensus about this?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull up the roster here. I'm gonna run through the list of task force members here. Once I get to your name, just say yay or nay, or yes or no on the highlighted budget. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes,
and Connor will say yes to that. Okay, looks like this budget works. I didn't gloss over anyone. No. Okay. Thanks. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to open it up to, before I do that, is there anything you guys wanted to discuss outside of the two applications? No hands raised. Okay. Sharice, did you want to say anything? I know you're observing from your end.
Oh, no, I am just listening in and still trying to get a feel of how you guys operate and do this. So no, I don't have anything yet.
Perfect. At this time, I'm going to open it up to public comments. If you're listening in, feel free to raise your hand and speak with the task force. I see no members from the public, so I'm going to close public comments. I'm going to go ahead and close this meeting, so you guys are free to go.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
Bye.